One look and I breathe. One touch feels skin deep. A picture perfect, underserving. Everything will probably go in and out. One thorn and we break. Airborne.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, everyone joining me live and on the replay. If you're watching live, which you are not, okay, I've got nobody live yet, but I was going to hopefully test my audio because I am using a new audio form. But hopefully this week I can see that I am now live. So I've at least done that. Whereas last week I went through the whole entire episode and realized I wasn't live. So yeah, we're bonus. I'm already live, so we're ahead of the game here, and hopefully the audio is working for you. So today's episode is Recovering Realities, Tackling Clutter in the Aftermath of a Major Disaster. So this is basically going into more detail from not last episode, but the episode before. So the episode from the end of September, talking about the traumas, and I'm going into different forms of where the clutter will show up, where you're going to need to declutter, where you're going to need to organize and all that stuff, and where it's going to affect your mind, body, soul, and home. So this episode is all about the major disasters. So that can be tornadoes, hurricanes, water damage, basically like a Mother Nature type of major disaster in your home. That's what we're going to discuss today, and exactly, going forward, what to do, what do you do immediately, what do you do during, or not during, but what do you do before you start decluttering, before you get your house back, before all that stuff. What are you supposed to do? What kind of things can you do for yourself? And then what do you do after the fact, after you've realized what's been going on, after everything's done, and then moving forward in the fact of how do I prepare so that this is not as crazy if it was to happen again, or how do I prepare those around me so that they don't have to encounter the same thing that I did or whatever. So first things first, when a major disaster happens, obviously take cover, make sure you're safe, make sure that no matter what, you, your family, your pets, everyone is safe, because that is the only thing that is important in this world right now. In your little world that's about to happen is the safety of everyone involved in every animal, because obviously I'm an animal person too. And obviously any human or any being is the first priority. Get yourself to safety, make sure all that stuff. Okay. First things first, disaster happened. Everything has settled. We're going to say it. So let's say a tornado came through and everything is said and done. Okay. First things first, make sure everyone's safe. Make sure everyone is obviously not, if there's injuries, if there's whatever. Okay. First things first, safety first, always, 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 always. Okay. Then when you know that everyone is safe, just breathe. Take a moment and breathe, because I promise you, your adrenaline is rushing. Your thoughts, your feelings, your everything is just absolutely rushing. So just take a moment, understand that yes, something just happened, a massive way, a major disaster. We're not just talking like, oh, okay, something hit your window. We're talking a major disaster. And you just want to breathe. You want to come into the right now that everyone and everything is safe. Once you've figured all that stuff out, obviously there's other things that happen if somebody is injured, if whatever, 911, all those things, if you have availability, if you've got your phone. But I'm talking, we're going to go into the scenario that everybody is safe, nobody is injured, or if there's injuries, it's minor injuries or anything like that. We're talking, everyone's good, all pets are good, all living animals are good. And after that, again, safety first. You want to get yourself out to safety. If it was a fire, obviously your first instinct is to get the heck out of the house. You don't care about your stuff. Do not care about your stuff. Get the people, get the animals out. If it's a fire, we're going to go and assess it. We're going to obviously, fire trucks are going to be there, the firefighters, all that stuff. You're not going to be able to go back in. Do not be the hero and go back in for stuff. Let the firefighters do their job, and then you can worry about afterwards. Safety is always the number one priority when it comes to this, whether it's safety of you, your family members, or your pets, animals, etc. If it's a water disaster, again, don't be a hero and try and get something and then you get stuck in a room because now it's filling up with water, all that stuff, whatever. Don't be a hero for stuff. That's the biggest thing I can tell you right now. Do not be a hero for stuff. Your stuff in those moments don't mean anything. It's the people and the living things, the creatures that do. After that, let's say things have calmed down, everything's settled, all that stuff, and it's deemed that you are allowed to go back in for major items. So let's say it is a tornado. A tornado, okay, the damage on the house, yes, there was damage, yes, whatever, but the firefighters and the police and everything has said, okay, you can go in, we will go with you, because this is what ends up happening. We will go with you to make sure, whatever, so that you can grab the necessities. So the necessities are the securing the documents. So let's say any of your ID, your children's ID, anybody's ID, pets, insurance, pets, medical documents, your medical documents, passports, and make sure I don't know if I just said that, but insurance papers. So those are the ones that you're going to want to make sure that those are the documents that you have. Should you have them all in one place in a fire safe box, also wrapped up in plastic? Maybe. Does everybody? No. So you're going to want to make sure that it is a safe area. So let's say you kept those all in just a filing cabinet. Make sure that that filing cabinet is in a room or is somewhere where you are safely allowed to go into. If you are, grab those documents. If they got wet, make sure that you lay them out and you put them wherever you end up, which chances are you're going to be rehomed into a hotel or motel or whatever. Or even find a friend that you can say, listen, can I just put these because they need to be dried? Your family and friends will come and help you out with many, many things. It is amazing how quickly people come together in disasters like this. I remember back in June of 2014, the house that my ex-husband and my children were in, which was our matrimony home, did get a tornado hit to it. He and the children did go down in the basement and yes, my children and my ex-husband were in the middle of it went over the house and everything like that. I was at work, and as soon as I turned on the radio and I heard that it hit the specific area, I knew. Like the gut feeling that I had, I just knew. And I don't even remember the drive. I just remember the turning, because I was going to go to because dad and I had split at this point. So I was about to go to my home, and I literally went and I turned, and it was amazing how when we got there, obviously the damage was incredible, but it was amazing how the neighborhood came together. So immediately after, like, it just went down, basically went across some houses, went to the back, and then off into the fields, into the farm fields and stuff like that. So anyone else that was across the street didn't get hit. Anyone that was down the street, whatever. And of course, this was in a army area. So this is an army town. And I remember coming there and I was like, okay, where are the kids? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, they're with the, so and so. So my son used to take a bus and stuff like that. So at the time, and he was over at a friend's that was also same name type thing. And they were over at his house. They were good. The gentleman came back out and he's like, "Hey, mom, how's it going? Whatever." Because we knew each other before we separated and stuff. But yeah, went into their house, went and saw the kids, whatever. Made sure that they're okay. Yeah, my daughter was eating chocolate pudding. She had chocolate pudding all over her face. She was barely 2 years old. Like just had turned two in the March. My son was playing video games with his friend and stuff like that. So it was good. The kids were good. Everyone was safe. The ex-husband was safe. Shooken up beyond belief, obviously. But again, it's amazing how the neighborhood came together in such a disaster. And that's one of the things is making sure that you take you utilize that. You utilize the neighborhood. You utilize the support that is within the community. So whether it is literally your town's local support, local places. I know here when that, or not here, but in the town that it happened, they rearranged the entire recreation center and they turned it into a, hey, if you need diapers, if you need formula, if you need clothes, if you need this, if you need that, um, gift cards, all that stuff was all set up, the volunteers and everything like that. So people took advantage of that and people donated beyond belief in the town. So it's amazing, it's shitty. I'm gonna say it as shitty as these disasters are, the hurricanes, the water damages that happen to homes and stuff like that. It's amazing and unfortunate how these are the reasons why people come together, but it's amazing how quickly people do come together in these situations. Do take advantage of those. Do take advantage of if you are somebody who was part of that disaster, do take advantage of the local community. Don't feel like, oh, well, I'm back. No, just take advantage of it. Understand that, hey, maybe you don't need all of the help, but maybe in these disasters, in these areas and stuff like that, they usually also have, hey, if you need help emotionally, mentally, for your mental health and all that stuff, we also provide that as well. We have people that provide that information. We have people that provide. Take advantage of that because as much as you're like, no, I'm good. I'm just happy that I'm safe. It's the afterwards. It's the dealing with the stuff. It's the having to go back into the home, having to realize how bad the damage is. It's having to realize, oh my goodness, I have to replace all of it, or I have to replace 90%, or I have to replace like it's taking advantage of that opportunity because it's not just today it's going to affect you, it's going to continue to affect you as you continue to have to live through the aftermath of it. Live through the talking to your insurance, making sure that, oh yeah, oh by the way, I need a phone charger because my phone charger was in the home and now it's, I had my phone because it was in my pocket, but I don't have a phone charger to charge my phone. It's things like that. It's the little things that all of a sudden continue to add up, and you need that support. You need the professional support as well because, again, like I said, there's going to be the mental and the emotional stuff that will come up later. Right now, you're in the let's get this done, let's get this whatever what needs to be happening, whatever, and it's just going to continue. But you still have to live life. You still have to go to work. You still have to have your kids go to school. You still have to have all those things. Obviously, take a break if you need to. Let the kids have a couple days off school, or if the schools may not even be open, depending on who got affected. Maybe it was a hurricane and all the schools are closed. It's adjusting to those things and knowing that you're going to need that help. Your kids might need that help if they were involved in it. Your partner might need that help. A neighbor might need that help. So just understanding and taking advantage of those things, it's not putting you at a, oh, poor as me. It's okay. I'm going to be smart about this because I know today I'm fine. Today I am happy. I'm thankful. I'm grateful for everything. but maybe tomorrow I might not be. So you know what? I'm going to keep that number on hand. And I'm going to make sure that, hey, if I'm feeling something, I'm going to reach out, because it is not a bad thing to reach out to the professionals to say, hey, listen, I'm having a really tough time dealing with this. I just need to talk to somebody. And that's what they're there for. They are the professionals. Those who are the professionals and the ones that are part of these programs, they have been through this. They have done this over and over and over again. They know what to expect with you. They know what to expect and to prepare you more for what's to come, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and with your home. So please take advantage of those. Don't think that you are weak because you are doing so. It is absolutely a form of strength to take advantage of these things. So on top of that, so obviously you're going to have to deal with alternate living arrangements, if because most of the times when, well, especially if there's a fire, there was just a fire here. What was it? Earlier this year, anyways, and it was destroyed. Like the home was destroyed. There was no way that those people were going back in that home. So they had to find alternate living arrangements. Again, you can either with family, with friends, or there's also, like I said, these towns that provide these aftermath um, options. They also have ways of contacting the government for assistant living, contacting your insurance, saying, hey, this is what happened. Your insurance, usually after everything's said, or usually as the process is going, they give you a certain amount of proceeds to go towards your living expenses, your food, all that stuff. Um, Again, like I said, the local services and your local, let's say your Facebook groups. Oh my goodness, the amount of people, like when this fire happened here not too long ago, the amount of people that gathered together just in certain Facebook groups for the town alone. Like it was just the town. Like I don't know if anyone else outside of town, but I knew I was in part of a few of them. And we rallied together to make sure that these people had clothing. They had food. They had gift cards for that they can buy food. They had accommodations. They had family and friends that they were staying with and stuff like that. And they had opportunities to say, hey, yes, right now we can't take any furniture or whatever, but please hold on to it if you are willing to, so that when we do rebuild and we are able to get back in the home and stuff like that, that yes, we will accept this. You know, obviously insurance, depending on what it was, all that stuff, will pay for some of it as well, but not everything. You only have a certain amount. And also with the insurance too, I know firsthand experience, they go in and they assess. They, once everything is said and done, obviously the fire, everything was a write-off. And you can't prove um, what the couch was, what make it was, how old it was, what's the equivalent. But let's say it was a tornado or the water damage or stuff like that. What they'll do is they go in and they assess it in the insurance. So let's say it's a couch. Okay. They go, okay, this couch, relative. Okay. So let's say it was a pull-out couch. You also had a 3-seater and you also had a chaise lounge. So what they'll do is they'll take that stuff and they'll assess it in the sense of, okay, what is the current amount if I was to get a pull-out couch? If I was to get this, I was to get that. And then what they do is they deduct a certain percentage for how old that couch was. So let's say you just bought that couch, you get it the brand new amount. Let's say the couch is 4 or 5 years old, they'll take 20% off of the value of the brand new if they were to buy it today, market value type thing. And then it goes from there. And then, depending on what it is, they give you a whole list. Like I remember the list upon list upon list upon list of items. Like they go through the entire thing and they assess it, but you only get, depending on how old it is, a certain percentage. So you want to make sure that, if people are offering these donated items, take advantage of it. Because 9 times out of 10, your insurance is going to cut you a check. Like you can do a they cut you a check basically if you do a cash deal, as opposed to them having to actually buy, like them having to give you for each individual thing. So you can just take the amount of money and you can decide, listen, I'm just going to go buy the beds and all that stuff myself. I'm going to do this. Can you just cash me a check? It's usually less than the amount that it was actually um, quoted as. So you kind of take like a, are you willing to just take the cash, or do you want them to actually get you a couch, a bed, a this, or whatever? Sometimes, you know what, this is the, as crappy as these situations are, this is also a time where people do realize, you know what, maybe I didn't need all that stuff. Maybe I will take less cash, and I'll be a little more minimal in what I had. I didn't need 20,000 pairs of shoes. I'm obviously exaggerating with that. With some people, actually, they do have that, but I didn't need all those shoes. So yeah, I'm going to take the cash for, this amount, whatever. I'm going to only buy the 5 main pairs of shoes that I need, whether it's sandals, slippers, running shoes, boots, and then whatever else. And just people tend to simplify after major disasters, because it gets to a point where you realize it really isn't about the stuff. It was about the people. It's about the relationships, the friendships. And yeah, this sucked, but this has definitely put me in a better, more full of gratitude area. And I'm glad that I can get to this point. I'm glad I'm here today to be able to have these thoughts and these feelings, because not everyone is as successful and as, um, because obviously people die in major disasters. So again, it's dealing with certain things, and the gratitude becomes higher and higher when things like this happen, whether it actually affects you personally or not. When you hear about these things, like even just that fire, I remember, like, my daughter was home and I was just picking up my son from one of his friends, and we just so happened to see the immense amount of smoke, and we can get a hold of my daughter. And I knew she was fine, because I knew, like, just based on where the smoke was coming and how whatever, and I could, whatever. But it did bring, but my son didn't. So the moment that we finally got home and she was right there, like, the immense gratitude that my son had, just that she was okay, that she was whatever. Because again, children, they fight, their siblings, whatever. But that moment, it gave him. Now, of course, obviously we talked about it afterwards, and obviously it was a traumatic, even that was a traumatic experience for the children. My daughter wasn't so much, because she didn't even know what the heck was going on, but for my son it was. So it was like, okay, even after that, it was okay. Do you see why these things, why we ask you to answer us, why we want to know where you are, why whatever? Because not knowing that she was okay because she didn't answer, only because I think she was in the washroom or something like that. But it gave you that, it was definitely like, oh, the mental and the emotional part of that. So doing that and just making sure that while you're going through these disasters, whether you are personally doing it or whether you know somebody or your neighbor or somebody in the area has gone through these things, just having the compassion, having the gratitude, and making sure that everybody's okay. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the people, the relationships. When you are on your deathbed, you're not asking for your 72-inch TV. You're probably asking, where is so and so? Where are if you have children, where is this person? I want to say goodbye to that person. I want to tell them how much I love them. On your deathbed, it is not about the stuff that's in your home. It is about the people that you've surrounded yourself with. So when these major disasters happen, it gives us a wake up call. And some people need that. Some people honestly, truly do need major events in their life to have these wake up calls, because they've made it all about this stuff. They buy, 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 buy. They don't care what kind of debt they've gone in. They don't care who's been hurt. They don't care. And then a major disaster happens. Again, whether it's a mother nature disaster or something in the family happens where it's a major event, where it literally can put you in a position where you have nowhere else but to examine your life and understand, wow, where am I? Who have I allowed to be part of my life? Who have I cut out that I didn't, but I didn't mean to? I was just a a dick. I was an asshole. I was whatever. It's things like that that this is the major disasters, and this is why I'm saying I went back to the point of, make sure you are taking advantage of these local services and the professionals that they offer and the professionals that come in, because again, this may not happen for a week or two or a month or two or three or six or a year later, when all of these thoughts and these emotions and these, oh my goodness, I can't, this could have been so much worse. Oh, take advantage of those local services, because this is something that is going to affect you. May not affect you today. You may be that strong, independent person that's like, I got this, I can do everything. Your insurance in this, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden you're lying in bed one day and all the emotions rush to you. And that's why I'm saying take advantage, even if you're just taking the names and the numbers of people so that you have them um, in your phone or in your contacts, so that when these things happen, you know who to reach out to. So you don't have to spend the time to research. You don't have to spend the time to be like, okay, it's been 6 months. Like, who am I? No, they know that 6 months from now, yeah, we're still here. A year from now, yeah, we're still here. Here, we can offer you this, um, you know, point, and your insurance might even cover it as well. So don't ever underestimate that as well. And then another thing is make sure you're checking in with everyone. Check in with yourself, obviously. Check in with the people that are around you, because again, you've now moved into the alternate living experience or living arrangements. You've lived there for, let's say, it's been a month already. Make sure that, yes, as much as you are dealing with the insurance company, make as much as you're in dealing with, replacing the, let's say you couldn't get in to get your passports and all the other documents, you're now having to do all of those things through the government and making sure that, okay, well, I can't prove who I really am per se because all those documents were in the home, like the house that got burnt and they burned down. How do I prove who I am? How do I get the documents? How do I, whatever. 9 times out of 10, they probably had mail in their mailbox, so they're able to at least prove their address and their whatever. But again, do you have your driver's license on you? Maybe it was in your wallet that was left on the table that is now gone. It's things like that that are going to continue. And, you're just basically going to be numb for the first little while until all these things set in, until you've got everything, until you've got your driver's license, until you've got your documents, until you've got everything that that now, okay, now I can prove who I am. Now I am a human being in the government's eyes. And now I can do this and I can do that. And even with my kids and all that stuff. So again, this is why moving forward after these events, and this is why big events, and it's all about preparedness before something like this. And this is why I'm doing this type of thing. And, because again, yeah, sure, we all know this, but have we actually done it? Have we put our documents into plastic bags? So just in case there's a flood or just in case, the roof, something like a tornado and the roof comes off and the water comes in and it destroys whatever. Is it in a fire safe box as well? Do you have one of those? Do you have all your important documents so that and the fire department can know? Because that's usually what they look for, is the safe, the fire boxes, because they know that those will probably have the important documents and those will be protected from the fires and again from the water and stuff like that. For those reasons, the insurance documents should go in there. Your IDs, your birth certificates, your marriage license, your insurance papers, any other very, very important documents should be going into those areas, into that box, into that safe, and making sure that it's water safe, that it's fire safe. Because again, water can get into anything. Fire can burn down most things. Like, those are the things that we want to prepare. And maybe just you listening to this episode makes you realize, oh, wait, I don't actually have a fire safe or waterproof box that I have all my documents in. I do have them just in a filing cabinet that is full of paper that if it is a fire, they're gone. So maybe you just hearing this episode makes you more prepared just in case. Maybe you hearing that a neighbor had a fire and you realize, oh, I don't have those documents in a fireproof area. I really should do that. And it makes you realize also that when everything is said and done, and you have to go back in and you have to do all that stuff, it really is not about this stuff in life. Like I said earlier, it's about the people and the relationships that you have because stuff can be replaced. Yeah, it may have cost you a couple thousand, tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars to put all those things in your home. But at the end of the day, as long as everyone's safe and happy and healthy, stuff can be replaced. It's never been about the stuff. We sometimes, and I know I've done this and I've fallen into it where it's like, oh, you want this and you want that and you want that and whatever, and you get all the new brand new stuff or whatever the case may be for you. But then all of a sudden at the end of the day, it's like, am I really happy? Is my family happy? And if not, why? Did I buy all these things thinking I was going to be happy? Did I get this new job because I thought it was going to give me more money and more money means that I'm going to be happy? You know, they say money doesn't buy happiness. Okay, but poverty doesn't either. Let me just tell you that. So, yes, money can buy you comfort and can buy you things that might make you happy or give you opportunities to buy experiences that will make you happy. But at the end of the day, it's not, let me wait to get that before I'm happy. It's let me be happy with where I am and what I have now so that when those things do come in, when I clear out the space, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual space in me, around me, in my home, that when a major disaster like this does happen, if and when, I should say, that I know at the end of the day, as long as the people that I have around me, that my family, myself, my pets, all that stuff are safe and healthy, we can replace the stuff. It doesn't drag you down. It doesn't bring you into the depression. I've seen many times where a major disaster like this actually can cause somebody to become depressed because they have they focus too much on what has been lost. They focus too much on, oh my goodness, I lost everything in my home or whatever. I lost my home itself. I've lost this. I've lost that. My car, my this. Versus twisting it just a little bit. And this is where the professionals come in and just kind of giving you the perspective of what have you gained? You've gained new perspective. You've gained lessons because, okay, you had to go through all all the pain in the ass is like I'm trying to think of the word, but pain in the ass steps of having to replace your birth certificate, replace this, replace that. Whereas now it's a lesson. It's a lesson for you moving forward. It's a lesson for you that you probably actually teach others around you, saying, "Hey, make sure you have a fire safe and water safe place or box to put all your documents in." That's a lesson. It's looking into the lessons as opposed to looking what you've lost, and understand that you will lose things. A fire, you've probably lost majority of your home. If you haven't lost the stuff to the actual fire and flames themselves, it's the smoke. You've lost stuff if it's a tornado that took the roof off your house and all the bedrooms were upstairs and you've lost all those things. Those childhood memories. That was one thing that I still like. I was actually, when was it? I was talking to somebody, a client on the phone, and it was like we're in 2023. It's almost 10 years later. And I even was like, yeah, I still felt the emotions because I had toys that from when I was a child in that home that I had given both my kids, and those were gone. And it's funny because at the time, yes, obviously it was emotional. Yes, oh crap, or whatever. But again, it was stuff. I knew it was just stuff. But it was entertaining that almost 10 years later, I'm kind of sitting there going, huh, yeah, I remember those things. But again, it was just stuff. Do I have pictures of it? No. If I do, somebody might have them of those specific toys that I had that I gave the kids or whatever. But at the end of the day, the kids were safe, the ex was safe, the cats were safe because we had cats at the time in the house as well. But it may affect you later on in life. I wasn't even part of the tornado house. I wasn't even part of the actual having to talk to the insurance and having to do all that stuff. But I still was like, "Huh, right. I had my toys there that I gave the kids and they're gone." Like it was part of my childhood was gone, but it wasn't. That's the thing. It wasn't. And I know this and I knew it even at the time. I actually chuckled with the client. I was like, "You know what? It's funny because as I think about this, I can feel my body reacting, but I know I'm fine. In this moment, I'm fine. In this moment, the children are fine. In this moment, that X is fine." But it's funny how we attach ourselves to this stuff, how we attach ourselves to ideas or memories. And it's okay because we bring ourselves back to the right now. We bring ourselves back into our breath if we need to, and we're okay. We will be okay. If we don't feel okay right now, reach out to those professionals, reach out to family, to friends. And it's not weak of you to say, I'm not okay right now for XYZ. This major disaster is traumatic. This major disaster is something that can and will affect you moving forward. Again, like I said, it could be next week, a month from now, after everything's said and done, after your whole entire house is rebuilt, after all of this stuff is now back in the home. You might have a dream that triggers that memory, that triggers that emotional, because your body keeps the emotions in it. It might You might wake up and just all of a sudden have the anxiety, have the depression, have something. Again, reaching out is not weak. And then obviously, again, it's, at the end of the day, it's rebuilding. It's knowing that you are going to have to say goodbye to things that you might not have wanted to, but appreciating them when they were in your home, in your life, part of whatever it is, thanking them and building the new version of you. So it's the old version that you're saying goodbye, and it's going to make that mess, and it's going to make that clutter, and it's going to be weeks, months, even years later. But you're going to be able to rebuild. You're going to be able to appreciate. And again, the client that I was talking to, they had a major water damage and stuff like that, and she had said it made her realize because they were living in other arrangements and stuff like that, it made her more minimal with her spending, with her stuff. Because, even in hotels or motels or Airbnbs and stuff, that there's only so much of your own stuff you have in those areas. So it became yeah, I guess I can live with less and enjoy life more with not having to have so much stuff in my home. So rebuilding your personality, rebuilding who you are, how you think, how you move about the world, and including your family or anyone else that was involved, including the neighborhood as well. So it's rebuilding and it's understanding that it's okay to ask and to reach out for the professional help. It's okay to have these moments 6 months, a year, 2 years, 10 years later, these moments of, whoa, my body's reacting to the thought I just had. That's odd, but that's okay. What is this? What is still inside sitting in my body that I haven't processed yet? Let me look at this. Let me understand what it is. Oh, it actually probably has to do with XYZ that happened that day of the major disaster. Is there somebody, do I need to speak to somebody about this? Or is it something that I can work through on my own? Because again, some people can. Some people can because of the fact, like with mine, I was able to work that on my own and understand. I was like, oh, well, that was weird, but that's cool. Like clearly that's something that I needed to clear out. Even though, again, like I said, I wasn't literally in the tornado. I was not the one that had to deal with the insurance. I was not the one that had to live in alternate living arrangements stuff. I picked up my kids and all that stuff while they were there, and the cats had to be in there. Like, So I wasn't in that. But again, it still affected me. I'm their mom. I was his ex, and it was still part of their day to day. So therefore, when I was, talking to the kids and having to speak to them and stuff, it was still part of their life. So it became part of my life. And that's the thing. So you've got to understand that even though you may not have been the one to do the major disaster, but you have a family member that is dealing with all that stuff. They're talking to you. That energy, that emotion is still being transferred to you. So that is still something that you also will have to understand. And it gets you, again, more prepared. For me, it was more prepared. Do I have this, this, and this in one area? Do I have it in the safety box? Do I have it where I literally, if this is the only place I'm allowed to and safely to get, can I? And another thing is, it gets you into the fact of what honestly is extremely important in my life. Again, I always say it comes back to the people and the relationships. At the end of the day, you're going to be on your deathbed and you're not going to bring your couch with you. You're not going to miss your couch. You're not going to miss your job. You're not going to wish you worked more hours and made more money. Lots of people on their deathbed, and it is known and it is written in many, many, many articles, journals, books, that people who are on their deathbed wished they were happier, they built more of their relationships, and worked less and was with the people they loved more. So, again, obviously dealing with a major disaster in your home, whether it's a fire, a tornado, a hurricane, um, major flood in anywhere, know that safety first, 100%. Making sure that everybody is safe, everybody is out of the major area that is of the disaster. Like I said, the fire, you're out of the house, everyone's out of the house. Making sure that, okay, once that is done, breathe, take a breath, understand your reality is this. This is your reality. This is the now. Everyone's safe, everyone's good. This is your reality. Take the breath, understand that there's going to be a lot of emotions, lots of mental stuff, lots of like soul, spiritual stuff, and obviously lots of home stuff as well. If you can, if after all is said and done, you are able to go back in and get the secured documents that you can, make sure you do. Make sure that if you are able to go back in the home and whatever, document, 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 document. Take photos, take videos, take whatever it is, because at the end of the day, when the insurance comes in to assess and all that stuff, you've got the documents for them, you've got the photos, you've got everything, the damage, all that stuff. Obviously, dealing with the insurance, getting alternate living arrangements, whether it's with friends, family, or Airbnbs, motels, etc. Check in with yourself throughout this entire process, check in with the loved ones that were part of it, and check in with the loved ones that had to be with you or support you as well. And make sure that you're checking with yourself with professionals if you need it as well. Stay flexible and patient, because this process, no matter what it is going to take time. It takes time to get a hold of the insurance. It takes time for the insurance to do their assessment. It takes time for them to get it into their underwriters. It takes time. So patience and being flexible, because obviously schedules have to change. You have to work with the insurance people that come in. You have to maybe take time off work, all that stuff. So staying that flexibility and patience is going to be key throughout this entire aftermath process. And then obviously letting go with compassion. It's stuff. It really is. At the end of the day, it's just stuff. As long as the people and the creatures, beings, pets, and all that stuff are safe and healthy and okay, it's just stuff. It can be replaced. And then obviously preparing for the future and rebuilding the new. You prepare for the future now. You know what to expect. You know you can help others. There's some people that go through these major life experiences and go on to becoming speakers for things like this. So if you're an advocate for this or making sure, or certain things, hey, I didn't do this, but hey, now I'm going to tell you, make sure that this happens. Whatever it is, like I said, making sure that your major documents are in a fire safe, waterproof box. That's the biggest one. Step number one, making sure moving forward. If nothing else you get from this video, that should be your thing to do today or this week, is making sure that you have all those things in that fire safe, waterproof box. And then, yeah, that's it. Like, I know I'm making such a very light topic or light way of saying these things. It is a traumatic experience, no matter what. This is a traumatic experience. No matter how strong of a person you are, this, all of this, the actual event, the afterwards, and the rebuilding all becomes traumatic events. But again, this is your life. This is your new reality. And this is something that, again, if this hasn't happened to you, prepare, because it can happen to anyone. Mother Nature, she doesn't pick favorites. She doesn't pick people or whatever that she does not, or, oh, karma, I think you deserve this. No, Mother Nature just does what Mother Nature wants to do. And that will happen. And prepare yourself if it's a fire and it happened because of human error. That's also something that, you prepare yourself for, and you realize, okay, I need to make sure that I don't leave candles burning when I'm not in the room, that I don't do this. Like, there's just so many different ways that people learn from and gain lessons from these major disasters that they teach others moving forward, and they know for themselves. So yeah, so that is all for this show. Next show is going to be on Wednesday, November 1st at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And that one is going to be continuing this series. So continuing about the traumatic events and stuff like that, and what to do during, or like actually happening during the event, afterwards, and then building the renew. So the next one is actually going to be divorce and major breakup, long-term breakup. Not obviously, your 1 month one type of thing, but I'm talking like when it becomes a major life event, like a divorce, like a major breakup, years and years and years of being with this person, living with the person or whatever. It's dealing with that traumatic, like, what do you do with yourselves, your mind, body, soul, and your home for these events? So that will be the next one. And like I said, that's on Wednesday, November 1st. Thank you very much for tuning in on live or the replay today. And we'll talk to you later. Bye.